Shabbat Shalom, y'all. This is Marble. So, in the last video, we read in the book of Bere'shiyth, Genesis, the chapter 15, and there's quite a bit going on in this one. Quite a blessing and quite the covenant that Yah had cut with Avram. And these things came to Avram in a vision, and Yah says to him, "Don't be afraid. I am your shield, your exceeding great reward." Now, when I read that, how many of us as believers in our Savior see and think of Yah as our shield? Is it even on a daily basis or weekly basis? How many of us think of Him as our exceeding great reward? I mean, growing up, I always heard the song we always sang in Sunday school, Father Abraham and many sons. You know, He's the father of many nations, and the descendants go from the 12 tribes, as we will eventually get to, all the way down King David and his descendants, all the way down to Yahusha, Jesus, the Messiah. And that's just one line that leads right to the Word made flesh. I am your shield and your exceeding great reward. Put that in your pipe and smoke it. Avram's asking him because he doesn't have a child. How's this going to happen? You know, this servant boy that I brought up from his youth, he's going to be my heir, and he's going to possess up everything that I own after I'm gone. Because I don't have a child. I don't have a son to pass down an inheritance to. And Yah says, "No, you're gonna have a child from your own bowels, from your loins." And he's like, "Well, how do I know that this is gonna happen?" Avram's like, "Give me a sign." So Yah tells him to bring forth a 3-year-old heifer, a 3-year-old goat, a 3-year-old ram, a turtle dove, and a young pigeon. And Abraham, he had separated each one of these and placed them on an altar. And this is going on right here. This is a covenant that is being cut with the creator of the universe, the maker of all, the one who breathed life, and ultimately the one who bore the nails in his hands for all mankind. He's making this covenant with him. And with a covenant, with the covenant being the way it is, these two parties, they set the parameters. You do this, I do this. You don't do this, you're gonna end up like these animals. If I don't do this, I'm gonna end up like these animals. This is how a covenant is kept. So you are paying if you don't fulfill the terms that you agree upon with this covenant. You will be paying the price of that covenant, ending up like those animals that were cut up and placed on that altar. And so the thing is, with that covenant, they were both to, as reciting, as far as my understanding of it is, both parties were to walk between the pieces of the animals that were slaughtered, walking between the pieces as they were quoting the terms of their agreement of their part. And this didn't happen. It says that a great darkness fell upon Avram, and Yah was speaking to him in this dream of vision. And when he saw a flame going in between those pieces of the animals that were cut up. That means Yah, in my understanding of estimation, the Father had walked and did his part on keeping that covenant. Quite a creator we serve. The things we take for granted. Yah tells him that his descendants are going to be strangers in a land and they're going to be afflicted for 400 years in this same land that they are strangers in. And in that time, at the end of that time, Yah's going to judge that nation that afflicts them, his children. And he's telling him all of this. He's setting up borders. He's showing him, because Avram's not geographically challenged. He's quite aware. He's like a nomad. He's traveled these areas going back and forth. He knows where Egypt is. He knows where Ur is. He knows where Haran is. He knows where Bethel and Ai is. It's talked about specifically in the last few chapters. So he's quite aware geographically of where he is and where Yah is telling him about this land that he and his children, his descendants, are going to inherit. And he knows who currently is living there, inhabiting that land at that time. So this brings us to chapter 16 in the book of Bere'shiyth, Genesis. Now Sarai, Avram's woman, bore him no children, and she had an handmaid, a Mitzri, whose name was Hagar. And Sarai said unto Avram, Behold now, Yahweh has restrained me from bearing. I pray you, go on in to my maid. It may be that I may obtain children by her. And Avram hearkened to the voice of Sarai. And let me restart that. And Sarai, Avram's woman, took Hagar, her maid, the Mitzrayim, after Avram had dwelt 10 years in the land of Canaan, and gave her to her man Avram to be his woman. And he went in unto Hagar, and she conceived. And when she saw that she had conceived, her mistress was despised in her eyes. And Sarai said unto Avram, My wrong be upon you. I have given my maid into your bosom. And when she saw that she had conceived, I was despised in her eyes. Yahweh judge between me and you. But Avram said unto Sarai, Behold, your maid is in your hand. Do to her as it pleases you. And when Sarai dealt hardly with her, she fled from her face. And the angel of Yahweh found her by a fountain of water in the wilderness, by the fountain in the way to Shur. And he said, Hagar, Sarai's maid, whence came you, and whither will you go? And she said, I flee from the face of my mistress Sarai. And the angel of Yahweh said unto her, Return to your mistress, and submit yourself under her hands. And the angel of Yahweh said unto her, I will multiply your seed exceedingly, that it shall not be numbered for multitude. And the angel of Yahweh said unto her, Behold, you are with child, and shall bear a son, and shall call his name Ishmael, because Yahweh has heard your affliction. And he will be a wild man, his hand will be against every man, and every man's hand against him. And he shall dwell in the presence of all his brethren. And she called the name of Yahweh that spoke unto her, You, see me. For she said, Have I also looked after him that sees me? Wherefore the well was called Bere'shiyth. Behold, it is between Kadesh and Bered. And Hagar bore Avram a son, and Avram called his son's name, which Hagar bore, Ishmael. And Avram was 86 old, when Hagar bore Ishmael to Avram. This concludes chapter 16 of Genesis, Bere'shiyth. Stuff's ramping up. Blessings to y'all. I pray that these little videos of each of these chapters are pouring into y'all as much as they are me, if not more. See y'all on the next one.